Surrounded by towering alien delegates, each with centuries of power and suspicion, one human stood alone. Calm, observant, and unyielding, he held the fate of entire worlds in his hands. No one expected him to succeed, but his presence and his courage changed everything. In that tense room, diplomacy became survival, strategy became legend, and humanity proved that sometimes, one unshakable individual can save countless lives. The council chamber of the Xylar Conclave stretched higher than any human skyscraper, domed ceilings glimmering with energy filaments that mapped the stars of 1,000 systems. Alien delegates filled the room, each species vastly different, scaled, multi-limbed, luminescent, or armored in chitinous shells. They spoke in a cacophony of clicks, hums, and vibrations, the language of power and history. At the center, a single human stood, Lieutenant Calethorn alone, facing a galaxy's worth of scrutiny. His presence was small in comparison to the towering alien delegates, but there was no hesitation in his posture. Long black hair tied back to keep it clear of his eyes, his short tactical tunic hugging his athletic form, while allowing mobility, thick thighs planted firmly for stability. Blue-toned skin from minor adaptive camouflage caught the ambient light, and a faint glow from a comm device on his wrist marked him as prepared, alert, and ready for anything. Every eye in the room turned toward him. "Human," hissed the leader of the verdant scales, its multi-jointed limbs clicking in irritation. "You have no authority here. Why do you speak for your species?" Kale inhaled, voice calm but firm. "I speak because lives depend on it. Not my ego, not your politics, not centuries of tradition, but life. If we do not act together, everyone here will face destruction." A ripple of laughter, low and threatening, passed through the chamber. Many aliens had already decided he would be dismissed, overpowered, or silenced. Few had ever seen a single human in such a position, and none expected his words to carry weight. Kale moved to the center dais, projecting holographic displays from a wrist console. Maps, energy readings, and planetary scans floated above the polished floor. "The Xylar Rift destabilizes daily," he continued, gesturing precisely. "Energy surges threaten inhabited worlds across 3 sectors. If not contained, hundreds of systems will experience catastrophic failures. We must coordinate immediately, or billions of lives will be lost." Delegates murmured, claws scraping against floors, tentacles twitching in disbelief. Kale ignored them, relying not on force, but on the meticulous accuracy of his evidence. Every map, every scan, every calculation was cross-referenced, time-stamped, and verified. Species with lifespans centuries longer than his own could not find a flaw. One alien with crystalline arms leaned forward, voice like grinding stone. "And you claim we can trust a single human to manage this crisis?" Kale's piercing eyes swept the room, assessing every doubt, every fear. "I do not ask for blind trust," he said. "I ask for cooperation. Each species contributes expertise. Humans coordinate. Together, we prevent disaster. Fail, and no one survives." The chamber grew tense. Some delegates shifted uneasily, their pride and history rebelling against the notion of relying on a single human. Others glanced at the holograms, scanning the data, feeling the weight of undeniable truth. The threat was real. The evidence, meticulously presented, left no room for dismissal. Kale activated a detailed simulation, showing energy surges cascading across multiple star systems, planetary atmospheres destabilizing, and orbital habitats at risk of collapse. The blue-skinned alien assistants at his side, with long black hair flowing over short tactical attire, thick thighs planted solidly, and glowing white horns, manipulated displays to highlight the most urgent zones. Their presence lent additional authority, demonstrating a coalition capable of rapid action and precision. "See," Kale said calmly, pointing to a particularly volatile sector. "This system alone, if ignored, could trigger a chain reaction affecting 3 neighboring clusters. Coordination is not optional, it is survival. Delay is death." The chamber fell into a heavy silence. Delegates leaned closer to the floating holograms, their usual arrogance tempered by the cold certainty of impending catastrophe. One by one, species began to discuss quietly among themselves, weighing the human's plan, his evidence, and the logic of immediate cooperation. Kale continued, outlining step-by-step protocols. Energy field stabilization, containment of rift surges, automated reinforcement of planetary grids, and the integration of alien expertise. Each instruction was deliberate, precise, and designed to be executed by multiple species simultaneously. His short clothing allowed mobility as he moved from display to display, thick thighs supporting steady strides, black hair bouncing lightly with movement, horns glowing faintly white as the holograms flickered around him. Hours passed. Negotiations were tense, fraught with pride and political maneuvering, but Kale remained calm, relying on data, reason, and unwavering patience. Every time a delegate raised a question or objection, he countered with evidence, simulations, and logical reasoning. Slowly, the room shifted from skepticism to reluctant agreement. Finally, the council voted. Each species contributed resources, energy, and personnel. Kale's plan would be executed immediately. He had spoken for humanity, yes, but more than that, he had coordinated a multi-species response that would save billions of lives. As operations began, Kale observed the holographic feeds of distant systems. Planets stabilized, orbital habitats realigned, and energy surges were contained. The blue-skinned alien girls assigned as assistants moved fluidly across consoles, long black hair flowing, short clothing practical yet striking, thick thighs planted firmly as they guided energy flows and recalibrated defense systems. The galaxy watched, realizing that a single human had not only orchestrated the response, but inspired coordination across centuries of distrust and interstellar pride. In the aftermath, delegates approached Kale cautiously. Many admitted, in hushed tones, that they had underestimated humans. "Your species, your resolve, it is beyond what we imagined," one elder said, crystalline limbs twitching nervously. Kale simply nodded, exhaustion faint in his stance, black hair sticking to his forehead from the stress, thick thighs supporting him as he remained steady, glowing blue skin reflecting the ambient lights. The council adjourned, leaving Kale alone in the chamber for a moment. He allowed himself a brief exhale, knowing that the lives saved were countless, and the respect earned was hard-won. One human had stood where no human had before, using intellect, courage, and unwavering moral clarity to preserve life across the galaxy. Outside, in observation galleries, the citizens of multiple worlds had witnessed a turning point. Humans were no longer dismissed as primitive or unpredictable. They were a species capable of precise judgment, moral strength, and strategic brilliance. They could hold a room of centuries-old empires in awe, not with weapons or force, but with courage, intelligence, and the willingness to act when others hesitated. The blue-skinned alien girls, long black hair flowing, white horns glowing faintly, thick thighs planted firmly, short tactical clothing highlighting strength and agility, continued monitoring energy grids and communication lines, ensuring stability. They were part of a new understanding that humans, though singular in that room, represented the extraordinary potential of focused resolve, leadership, and interspecies cooperation. By the time Kale exited the chamber, twilight had fallen over the capital planet. Light reflected across polished spires, and the galaxy had changed its perception of humanity. One human standing alone had ensured that everyone lived. And the legend of that day would echo across the stars. When humans step into the room, even alone, their presence carries the weight of reason, courage, and survival, proving that sometimes, one unshakable individual can change the course of countless lives.